Hey guys, so today I'll be solving 5090 paper 22 May-June 2020. So this is a biology O-level paper and variant 22 May-June 20. So let's see the questions. So at first we've got section A. So it says to answer all the questions in this section, write your answers in the spaces provided. Okay, so let's see number 1. In number 1 it says the diagram below, the boxes on the left contain the names of organs in the human body. The boxes in the middle contain the name of chemicals produced by these organs. The boxes on the right contain descriptions of one function of each of these chemicals. Draw a line to link each of the organs with the chemical it produces and link each chemical with the description of its function. So that's very simple and straightforward actually. So let's see, over here one is already done. So the first one is salivary gland. So obviously it produces or secretes amylase, we know. So the function of amylase is just to convert starch into maltose, so that's going to be our first choice here. Then we have got the liver. So we know that the liver is responsible for the synthesis of bile. Since it says what chemical this organ produces, that's right, liver shall be bile. And we know bile is used for the emulsification of fat into smaller globules, or the breakdown of fats in the small intestine. So that's going to be the option. Okay, breakdown can also be written as emulsification of fats. Then we have got pancreas. So pancreas, we know the essence of Langerhans in the pancreas produces insulin hormone. So it's obviously going to be insulin, and insulin is responsible for the conversion of glucose to glycogen. So that's it. That's very easy. First question, who will 5 my score. So let's see what question number 2 has an offer. The pollution of air and water may result from human activity. The pollution can lead to many of the harmful effects on the ecosystem. Knowledge about these harmful effects can lead to a reduction in human activity that leads to this pollution. One human activity that may lead to this pollution of air is a production of electricity. Okay, so the graph shows the changes in release of gases into the air during the production of electricity over a period of 18 years by 32 countries. Okay, so that's the general idea we get from the question. So let's look at the axis. So in the y-axis we have got the percentage concentration of gas compared with the concentration in 1990. So this is the 1990, we can see, and this is the year, we can see. So describe using data from the graph the trends shown. Okay, so we need to actually look at the key for this kind of question. The key is very important in order to recognize what each of these lines signify. Okay, so let's see. In the key, from the key we can understand that a circle represents carbon dioxide, a triangle represents oxides of nitrogen, and a square represents sulfur dioxide. Okay, so we just got to describe. So in describe questions we have to remember that we just have to just say what this graph shows. We do not have to actually explain what their effect of these chemicals is. We just have to say what this graph shows, that's it, nothing else. So we can see that from 1990, as the year increases, every one of these gases is actually decreasing because it's actually lowering. As you can see, the percentage of gas as compared to 1990s is actually decreasing, as we see. Look at the graph. So at first this is the line for carbon dioxide because it's a circle. So we can say the carbon dioxide decreases by the least amount from 1990 to 2008. Then we have got these triangles. So these triangles are the oxides of nitrogen. So we can say these oxides of nitrogen, as you can see, actually decreases till 2001 around, and then again starts to increase and again decreases. Okay, then we have got the sulfur dioxide. So the sulfur dioxide actually decreases the most. Okay, so you can just mention these, and you can just take data from this graph, such as 2001, as I said, that it decreases after that and then again starts to increase. So using these comparative analysis from the graph, we can also answer this question to score this 4 mark. Okay, so let's look at the next question. So it says during the period of 18 years, the total amount of electricity produced each year by the 32 countries has increased It suggests one change in the process used by these countries to produce electricity that may account for the trends shown in the graph. Okay, so the total amount of electricity produced has actually increased. So it says it just suggests one change, so it's a suggest question, so we can just offer our own suggestions over here. So we can easily suggest that there has been less burning of fossil fuels, because fossil fuels, as we know, is responsible for the release of sulfur dioxide and other harmful gases. Burning of fossil fuels, so we can say less burning of fossil fuels. Then we can also say that they have gone to use more renewable sources of energy for the production of energy. So renewable sources also release less amount of gases. So as is it says by the trend of this graph, so obviously these gases decrease, so as a result less gases need to be produced, a renewable way of producing energy, or less burning of fossil fuel. Or we can just say that we are going to use some kind of method in order to actually remove these pollutant gases from the atmosphere, so that also works. Okay, so let's see the next part. It says pollution of air by each of these gases named in the graph leads to harmful effects on ecosystem. Suggest and explain, so this is important, the positive effects on ecosystem by the trend shown in the graph. So as you can see, the trend actually shows that these all gases are actually decreasing, so we can actually understand what these positive effects it would lead. So at first we have got carbon dioxide. So if there is a reduction in carbon dioxide, we can say that there is a reduction in global warming because of less greenhouse effect, so less greenhouse gas, so reduction in greenhouse effect, so that's an easy one. Okay, so less global warming. Okay, then we have got oxides of nitrogen and sulfur dioxide. So as we know, these two gases are actually responsible for acid rain. So we can say there is a reduction in acid rain because of the drop in oxides of nitrogen and oxides of sulfur, or sulfur dioxide. Okay, so we can just say, so as a result, because of less acid rain, so less aquatic animals will die, less damage to buildings. So we can just give an explanation, since it says suggest as well as explain. So you have to suggest why it's an improvement and also explain how this actually helps us. So let's see the part B. It says a survey of the populations of several species of fish in a part of river was carried out in 2003 and again in 2007. The population of one species of fish decreased from 1385 to 28 over this period. Okay, so it says calculate the percentage decrease in the population of these species of fish. So over here, this is a simple question where we just have to calculate the percentage decrease. Okay, so it let's see by the decrease amount, so we just have to say it decreased from 1385 to 28. So 13, oh my gosh, I'm really sorry for the handwriting. 1385 minus 28 divided by 1385. This is actually the original amount, this is the new amount. So if we do this using the calculator, let's see what we get. 1385 minus 28, 1385 times 100, we're going to get 97.97. So that's actually our percentage decrease in the amount. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Then it says the scientists who carried out the survey suggested that the fish population might recover if conservation actions are taken. Okay, suggest one possible conservation action that could be recommended by the scientists and describe how they could find out whether this action is successful. Okay, so we can actually say we can these conservation factors, we can give any sort of suggestion. For example, reduction of any type of chemicals which is entering the water, such as reduction in sewage. Okay, reduction of sewage entering the water, so that will actually reduce the amount of eutrophication, so less aquatic animals will die. Okay, then after we do this, after we take this measure, then it says describe how they will find out that it is successful. So in order to find out that this experiment was actually successful, we need to actually repeat the survey. So they can repeat the survey and they can actually compare both the results from the survey, or compare the data they have collected from these two surveys to actually check if it was successful or not. Okay, so if there are more aquatic animals, then the survey was actually successful. That's it, very easy. Okay, let's see what question number 3 tells us. This flowchart shows the steps taken by the production of yogurt from milk. Okay, so these are the steps, So heating milk to 90 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes, sterilize the milk, such as the importance of sterilization. So it's very important that sterilization, whenever you heat up to 90 degrees, so it will kill any other kind of pathogens or any other types of microorganisms such as bacteria or fungi. So as a result of removal of these kind of microorganisms, this will actually reduce the competition. Okay, so they will have to compete less. Okay, so this is the removal of these microorganisms, a removal of pathogen. So there will be a reduction of this competition, and there will be less contamination of the yogurt by these other kind of microorganisms, because we do not want them there. Easy. Okay, then it says explain why the milk must be cooled to 43 degrees Celsius before the culture bacteria are added. So this is basically the incubation process. So this is because if the temperature remains very high, as you know, there are different types of enzymes which are present in the bacteria, which is responsible for this entire production process. So this enzyme, if it is not at its optimum temperature, they will actually get denatured. So as a result, we actually have to prevent this denaturization of this enzyme. So we need to maintain this optimum temperature of 43 degrees Celsius. So as a result, this bacteria or these enzymes will not get denatured or get killed. Bacteria won't get killed, and there will be a maximum yield of products. So that's it. Let's see the next question. So it says the two species of bacteria added to the milk are not mobile and are not pathogens. Okay, state the external structure used for the movement by some species of bacteria. So that's easy. We know the flagella, or the tail-like structure, as you know, in bacteria. This is a flagella. Oh my gosh, why doesn't it show? Okay, so this is a flagella, which is the tail-like structure of bacteria. So this is actually responsible for the movement, okay, or the sweeping action in bacteria. Anyways, so let's look at the next question. Explain why is it important for bacteria added to the milk and not pathogens? Of course, because it does not cause diseases, because we know pathogens can also cause diseases, because we are going to eat the final product. So of course we don't want diseases to happen. Okay, anyways, that's it. Then it says describe with reference to named chemicals the role of bacteria during the time for which it was kept in the mixture for 43 degrees Celsius. Okay, the role of bacteria. So this is actually a question if you know about the yogurt production, as it is also given here, but it does not explain here anything. So if you know the steps of yogurt production, we know that the reference of chemicals, we know the bacteria has got enzymes which actually digest the milk protein or casein and converts it into lactose, because lactose and converts the it converts the milk protein casein and also converts lactose to lactic acid, okay, by the presence of lactase enzyme. Okay, so this lactic acid actually lowers the pH and causes the milk to thicken or coagulate. Okay, the milk actually thickens because of this lowering of pH. That's it. So that's the explanation there. Then we have suggest and explain one benefit to the human health of eating yogurt to which fruits have been added rather than eating yogurt with no fruit being added. So we know fruits contain different types of nutrients, different types of vitamins. For example, fruit can contain vitamin C. As we know, vitamin C is responsible for the prevention of scurvy and other diseases associated with gum. Okay, then it may also contain different types of fiber which can actually prevent which can actually enable peristalsis and prevent constipation. Okay, anyways, so let's move on to the next question.